So those prints, according to your understanding, were obtained in 1971 for those property theft offenses.
And the date of arrest is listed at 1971.
Okay, then how do you know it's connected to Anthony Troy Williams?
I don't. This is why it came from the FBI.
How do you obtain the records from the FBI? Do you use a name? Do you use a alpha number?
I used the name and the FBI number.
You knew what the FBI number was.
Yes.
How did you get that information?
I ran it through APHIS and it came back with the result from the FBI, giving me the FBI number. And I then took the FBI number and requested the fingerprints from the FBI. And this is what I received from them.
So you used the name and the FBI number.
Yes.
And it came back with the hit.
Yes.
And that's what they sent you.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. Do you have any questions?
Just one question. Actually, when you say you ran APHIS, you mean that you took the prints from the sheriff and ran that? That's
Yes.
also how you got it.
Yes.
Is that correct? Yeah.
I need to ask a question also.
Yes.
Okay, you said you already had the FBI number.
I ran the fingerprints through APHIS, our local APHIS, and then it searched the FBI, and then the FBI came back with a hit with your FBI number, and that's how I got the FBI number.
Well, no, you just told the judge that you already knew the FBI number. You just told him that you knew the FBI number.
I knew the FBI number after running the hit.
That's not what you said. You said you knew the FBI number. Do we need to have the transcript redone right now so we can say she said that she knew the FBI number?
Whatever she said is in the record, Mr. Wilson.
Okay, now, if you already knew the FBI number, then why would there be a need for you to get the FBI number if you already had it?
We always run every fingerprint through APHIS and through the FBI. So regardless, if we know anybody's FBI number, we run it through APHIS anyway.
Okay, so you do know a lot of people's FBI number before you contact the FBI, correct?
We don't know anybody's FBI number offhand. We just have the fingerprints and we run everything through APHIS and through the FBI.
So you've never known before you ran anybody's prints through the FBI database, you never had any documentation that had their FBI number on there?
We don't. Not prior to the fingerprint verification, we don't have any documentation.
Okay, no further questions.
Anything else?
No, just one more question. On the, you said the date of arrest and the charge. Can you explain how at 17 days old I was charged for theft of property?
Explain that.
You can't explain that? Would you say that the FBI is pretty incompetent based on this information? Yes or no? It's a yes and yes. It's relevant. It's definitely relevant to the question because this has to do with my fingerprints and identity and identifying who I am.
Listen, the facts you need are in the record. She doesn't have to answer that question.
Why does she have to answer that?
You can argue it, and it is argumentative. So I'm sustaining the objection.
It's a valid question.
Not after I sustain the objection. Do you have any other questions?
This AL number, how is that number generated?
It's assigned to each law enforcement agency from the FBI.
So the AL number denotes the agency?
It denotes the agency. The AL denotes the state, and the number denotes the agency.
Okay, so the AL would be Alabama?
Yes.
And how do they come up with the other numbers?
That I cannot explain to you.
Okay, on the front page of the FBI fax number. It says approved by KJD DMW. Is one of those people you?
No,
Who are those that has been approved by? Because those just are initials. Do you know who those people are?
they're from the FBI.
And what city FBI sent you these prints?
Oxford,
Hartsburg, what state?
West Virginia.
Hartsburg, West Virginia. And is this the center that you get all your prints from that you order?
Yes,
Do they usually send you back prints of infants that then committed theft of property?
they send back what I asked for.
Have you ever had any prints come back with a 17-day-old child from the FBI that has been charged with theft of property? No more further questions.
Anything else?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other witnesses want to speak?
I'd like to have the state of Georgia sworn in.
I don't see that as being possible, Mr. Williams.
Why not?
The state of Georgia is not here.
The state of Georgia is not here?
You heard me correctly.
Okay. If the state of Georgia is not here, then how are we having an extradition hearing for the state of Georgia to extradite me back to the state of Georgia?
Do you have any evidence you want to present, Mr. Williams?
Yes, that's the state of Georgia. If the state of Georgia is doing the extradition, I need the state of Georgia sworn in on the record and not an agent of the
That's not
state of
going to
Georgia.
happen. Do you have any other witnesses?
So what you're telling me is that you're going to violate the Constitution.
I'm telling you that we're not going to swear in the state of Georgia.
So if all the witnesses that the state of Georgia supposedly brought in had to be sworn in, how is it that the state of Georgia, who is accusing me, can't be sworn in on and for the record?
Do you have any individuals you'd like to call as witnesses
The
here
state of
today?
Georgia, the state of Georgia. Because that's
We're
a
not going to
person.
have the state of Georgia. Okay, move on to somebody
But I'm
else.
saying that's the witness, because I need to ask the state of Georgia, why would they have an extradition for me to be extradited to Georgia on a charge that I was never in the state of Georgia to commit, that I was in the state of Hawaii at the time of the alleged crime?
Okay, the issue is, are you the person that Georgia wants for this offense?
I need to ask the state of Georgia that. How did they verify that I'm the person that they want? So please bring forth the state of Georgia on and for the record. If they're not here, then it has to be dismissed with prejudice.
Well, you can argue that. I'm just asking you. Georgia's not going to testify, so you've got an issue if you want one.
Okay, who is testifying against me then? If the state of Georgia is not here to testify against me, who is testifying against me? Because the state of Georgia is the one that's charged the legal fiction or the legal person, Anthony Troy Williams.
I'll give you one more opportunity to call someone other than the state of Georgia. If you cannot name anyone else, then we'll move on.
So this is the entity or the person that's charging me.
Do you have
the
anybody
Sixth-
else besides
But the
state
Sixth
of
Amendment
Georgia
says I have a
that
right
you'd
to
like
face
call?
my accuser, sir.
Okay. I'll take that as a no, because you haven't named anyone else you'd like to call. Okay?
Yeah, you all did not give me a heads up that I could have witnesses at this hearing, or I would have asked for a longer extension to be able to bring my witnesses and have my documentation here at this hearing.
I told you yesterday, if you wanted to represent yourself, we could not help you. We can't advise you, give you instructions on how to defend yourself. That's
I don't need your
your
instructions. I
responsibility.
defend myself very well.
Okay, so,
But you still have to follow yours. Now, are you on your oath today also?
all right.
Yes or no, sir?
Are you finished with your evidence?
Yes, sir.
All right. Why
I
don't
need you to
argue?
answer that question, sir.
Your Honor,
I'm not going to answer the question.
You're not
Go
going to
ahead.
answer the question that you have sworn to an oath to uphold the Constitution of the United States of America, and by law you have to, under Title V, USC 3331, 3332, 3333, and if you do not do that, under Title V, USC 7311, you can be arrested for violation of that oath of office. Do you understand that, sir?
Listen, if you want to participate in this hearing, you have to play by the rules. Right?
The rules of the
We
Constitution
are
of the
moving.
United States
I've
of America.
ruled on your witnesses. You know, yesterday I told you I took an oath. You asked me if it was on file. It was an oral oath. I don't know if it's on file. That's your answer. All right. Let's get on to the issue at hand, which is your identity, or the identity of the person.
Okay, I need my paperwork right there. That's your oath of office right there. I need that into the record. On and for the record, please, sir. Can you go give me that oath of office?
You can pick it up. Check it. All right.
Into that hand.
Go ahead.
Your Honor, we have presented evidence to Jason Self has confirmed with the state of Georgia, received a warrant from the state of Georgia that Mr. Anthony Troy Williams is wanted in that state. And they confirmed that warrant is active and that they want him extradited back to Georgia.
Objection.
Deputy Sheriff Tamayo identified Mr. Williams as the person who took fingerprints from. Those fingerprints were given to Ms. Kaneshiro, who qualified as an expert in fingerprint comparisons, compared the fingerprints that was taken of Mr. Williams on September 13, 2013, and put it into the database, which she found out that he had an FBI number and prints with the FBI. Those prints were obtained by Ms. Kaneshiro, and she did an actual manual comparison also, which again confirmed that the prints showed that the printed by the sheriff and the same person.
Okay. Now, she also indicated that the fourth page of Exhibit 4 showed the date of arrest when the prints were taken, and that's sometime in 1971. What's the date?
Yes, the card that she did get from the FBI does have the date 1971. I can't explain that.
The arrest date is 1971, right?
It says date of arrest.
And it's from the state of Alabama.
According to Ms. Kaneshiro, yes.
Okay. According to your records, what is the defendant's date of birth?
Well, we are August.
Please enlighten the court.
Mr. Williams,
Yeah,
Mr. Williams, please, you'll have an opportunity to speak, but it's her turn now, so don't interrupt, please. Go ahead.
according to the OBTS, which I believe is data entered by the sheriff and the data center is August 9, 1971, which is on this print from the FBI on the first page of the date of birth, August 9, 1971.
But according to Ms. Kaneshiro's testimony, the prints are connected to an arrest in August of 1971, right? From somewhere in Alabama.
Your Honor, that's what is listed as a date of arrest, but if you look where I believe she had talked about the charges, if you look at the disposition, it has other dates. So I guess I would submit, but obviously I didn't do this in my field.
What was the date of the arrest? What was the exact date of the arrest on Exhibit 4?
In the box that says date of arrest, it says 1971 as the year, August is the month of 2016.
So if the defendant's birthday is correct, then he was 17 or so days old at the time of the death, where they obtained those prints. Is there any other way to explain the source of those prints from the evidence we have here?
I guess the only other thing on it is how you, just like they say, you did an NCIC check and it had the word, social security number, his name, and those things. But again, it seems that, you know, that it could be a typo, and then when you look at the actual charges, the disposition is,
Well, it could be a typo, but we don't have any evidence it's a typo. What we have is Ms. Kaneshira's testimony indicating what those bits of information indicate. And it seems to me that those prints are probably not the prints of a person who was 17 days old at the time. Do you want to offer anything else?
no, just that, I guess, taking into consideration all the testimony, including Mr. Self verifying the NCIC and Georgia and the FBI to confirm that a person wanted by the name Anthony Williams, and the fact that Ms. Kaneshiro testified about that there was a match, and she confirmed it with the FBI. I guess stated something that that's a valid and reliable source of the database exists. And the fact that the FBI sent Mr. Self a picture of Mr. Williams with the information, and also sent the facts to Ms. Kaneshiro, saying that in fact the prints that she had matched the person as wanted.
But if we're talking about the fingerprints, the match is from information furnished by the FBI, which is from August of 1971, when the defendant was 17 years old. So other than the prints, I mean, the prints don't seem to match up, okay? Do you have a photographic confirmation? Do you have anything else that might establish identity?
Well, yeah, when Mr. Self testified that he got the photo from the FBI telling him that the photo was of Anthony Troy Williams, and when I asked Mr. Self, did he recognize Mr. Williams, the person that was booked on arrested by himself as the person in the photo, and he answered yes. So in that regard, there was a photo match done by Mr. Self.
That the photo he got
See from the FBI.
matched the defendant?
Yes.
Anything else? Do we have that photograph in evidence?
Yes, Your Honor. Please exhibit one.
Do you have a social security match? Or a description match? Anything else?
Well, Your Honor, I believe, I believe the sheriff did not obtain a social security number from Mr. Williams himself. Again, Mr. Self did say that according to the NCIC, he found a social security number, but there was no ID or any confirmation by Mr. Williams himself to say that is in fact my social security number. Nothing to that effect. However, I believe Mr. Self and the sheriff did see the photo ID, but it wasn't a license, but I believe it had a date in the photo.
How about date of birth?
I don't believe the date of birth was on the ID, or I'm not sure if, I guess we have to ask the sheriff, I think he got 13 date of birth.
Okay, so you have a photographic identification.
According to the sheriff's, and actually in the reports that I did provide to Mr. Williams, they made identification for the photo ID.
Is that sufficient for extradition purposes?
Yeah, the state would argue that it is, I mean, it's a photo ID, that's how other people are identified when we use a document employees. They just think that it would be sufficient to have a picture and that we,
All right. Anything else?
nothing further.
Mr. Williams, you want to argue?
Yes. This whole hearing was based on the fingerprints, then verifying the fingerprints. Was it not?
Argue, don't ask questions.
Right. Well, it was based on the fingerprints, not a photo. If they were going to do it on the photo, they would have extradited me. Now, it's been proven here today that the fingerprints that the FBI have in their database, that we have a sworn fingerprint expert testimony on, that those fingerprints was taken August 26, 1971, when I was 17 days old, still in diapers. Just that case alone, and that fact alone, this extradition hearing should be dismissed. I should be released immediately with prejudice because the state did not prove those fingerprints are actually mine. That's on and for the record. It's obvious that they're trying to frame me for something that I didn't do, that I wasn't in the state to even commit. And now the FBI fingerprints that they're relying on is from someone that was arrested in 1971, August 26th, when I was 17 days old. So there's no other recourse but to deny extradition by the state of Georgia, because the state of Georgia is not here. I thought she was the state of Georgia's prosecutor, but she's not. You said the state of Georgia is not represented here today. So with those facts being the case, this extradition needs to be denied, the state of Georgia, and I need to be released immediately.
Okay, we'll put the fingerprints on the side. She's arguing that you've been identified by the photograph. And that's State's Exhibit 1. Do you have an argument against that?
I mean, they can put any photo together and say, we got this from the FBI, we got this from whatever, date of birth, because they don't have a date of birth, they don't have a social security number in order to verify. That's why we have a fingerprint process. If they can use the photo as identification, they would never ask for fingerprints. The fingerprints is to specifically identify that individual because no two individuals have fingerprints. Now, there are plenty of people that have pictures that look like me. I can give you a few pictures of some people and you would think that's me, just looking at a photo.
Is State's Exhibit 1 one of them?
Right, who says that's not me? That's what they're saying.
Okay. Anything else about the photographs?
Other than that, I mean, that's not a valid way to identify someone because you have twins. How does the state know I don't have a twin, or I'm not a triplet or a quadruplet?
Okay. Yesterday you indicated that it was both you and your son arrested for the child molestation offense in Georgia. And then you indicated that something I didn't quite understand. I mean, there was a statement that both you and your son were arrested for this offense in Georgia. And what was your explanation as to why it wasn't you?
Well, no, I wasn't arrested in the state of Georgia. I was not arrested because I wasn't there. I was here in Hawaii. My son got arrested on a traffic stop, and when they ran his name, it said that there was a warrant for his arrest for a child molestation, and so they took him into custody. Once he went to the hearing, it was dismissed with prejudice because it was proven that he wasn't there, just like I wasn't there. The incident never happened, so you can't prosecute on something that didn't happen.
Well, that's something that will be answered by the state of Georgia. You indicated yesterday that you were arrested with your son for that offense, and then you gave me something about a corporation.
Right, I was arrested at the Attorney General's office because I was there under the pretense that I was supposed to see David Louis in regards to the corruption here in Hawaii. And that's basically when I was set up as far as being arrested for a warrant they say that was issued for the corporation Anthony Troy Williams, but not for me, the flesh and blood man, because I have paperwork and documentation to show that Anthony Troy Williams, the all capital letters, with a social security number, is a different entity than me, the flesh and blood man, created in the image of Yahweh, Elohim, and Yahshua.
All right. Anything else, Mr. Williams?
Yes, under the Hawaii revised statute, can I go into that? According to extradition laws?
Go ahead.
Hawaii revised statute 832-3, the title is Form of Demand. It states that no demand for the extradition of a person charged with crime in any state shall be recognized by the governor unless in writing, alleging, except in cases arising under section 832-6, that the accused was present in the demanding state at the time of the commission of the alleged crime, and that thereafter the accused fled from the state and accompanied by a copy of an indictment found or by information supported by affidavit in the state having jurisdiction of the crime, or by a copy of an affidavit made before a magistrate there together with a copy of any warrant which was issued thereupon, or by a copy of a judgment of conviction or of a sentence imposed in execution thereof, together with a statement by the executive authority of the demanding state that the person claimed has escaped from confinement or has broken the terms of the person's bail, probation, or parole. The indictment, information, or affidavit made before the magistrate must substantially charge the person demanded with having committed a crime under the law of that state, and the copy of the indictment, information, affidavit, judgment of conviction, or sentence must be authenticated by the executive authority making the demand. Now, which means the executive authority, I'm going to read the definition so the court won't misunderstand who the executive authority is. Under Hawaii Revised Statute 832-1 definitions states, where appearing in this chapter, the term governor includes any person performing the functions of governor by authority of the laws of this state. The term executive authority includes the governor and any person performing the functions of governor in any state, and the term state includes any state other than this state, the District of Columbia, or a territory, organized or unorganized, of the United States. The term interstate means between this state and another state. The term prosecuting officer or prosecuting attorney includes the attorney general of this state, any county attorney or prosecuting attorney of any county of this state. The term peace officer includes any officer authorized to serve process and criminal proceedings. So, according to Hawaii Revised Statute 832-1, the executive authority is the governor of the state. Now, I need to see a letter written from the governor of this state that's even authorizing an extradition to the state of Georgia. That's number one. Number two, I need this state or the state of Georgia to prove that I was in the state of Georgia when this crime was committed, according to Hawaii Revised Statute 832-1 and 3. Also, Hawaii Revised Statute 832-6, extradition of persons not present in demanding state at time of commission of crime. The governor of the state may also surrender on demand of the executive authority of any state, any person in the state charged in the state in a manner provided in section 832-3 with committing an act in a state or in another state intentionally, resulting in a crime in the state whose executive authority is making the demand, and this chapter not otherwise inconsistent shall apply to such cases, even though the accused was not in the state at the time of the commission of the crime. Also, Hawaii Revised Statute 832-10, rights of accused person, application for writ of habeas corpus. No person arrested upon their warrant shall be delivered over to the agent whom the executive authority demanded him as appointed to receive him, unless he shall first be taken before a judge of a court of record in this state, who shall inform him of the demand made for his surrender and of the crime which he is charged, and that he has the right to demand and procure legal counsel. And if the prisoner or his counsel state that he or they desire to test the legality of his arrest, the judge of the court of record shall fix a reasonable time to be allowed him within which to apply for a writ of habeas corpus. When the writ is applied for, notice thereof and of time and place of hearing thereon shall be given to the prosecuting officer of the county in which the arrest is made, in which the accused is in custody, and to the agent of the demanded state. That I am the entity or the person that they're looking for. The FBI has sent the fingerprints of a person that they fingerprinted and arrested in August 26, 1971, which is obviously not me. So therefore, this extradition to Georgia should be denied, and I should be released immediately.
Anything else, Mr. Williams?
That's all for now.
Okay. You were arrested without warrant. You didn't read 832.14, which permits that, and you were brought in compliance with 832.14 to the court. You were advised of your rights pursuant to 832.10. You were told that you had the right to counsel. I read you or paraphrased the complaint for extradition that was filed after your arrest. Today, the prosecutor tried to introduce or to identify you through fingerprints, and I will acknowledge that it failed to do that. But there is the evidence of the photographic identification and also your statements yesterday. I'm going to find that the state has proved identity. I'm going to set a hearing approximately 30 days from now. The governor's warrant, which you requested, will be necessary, and the state will have to arrange for that. What's the return date? Okay.
You didn't.
Your Honor?
You have a right to file a writ or an application for writ of habeas corpus, and I'm going to give you 2 weeks to file an application for writ of habeas corpus, and that will be heard on the return date for the governor's warrant.
But I want to know, how is it that you, as an acting judge, you
What
reschedule?
about bail, Miss Mariana?
Your Honor, Georgia has asked that we're going to be held with no bail.
I object to that.
The court will find that no condition or combination of conditions will assure the defendant's presence when required. The court will hold the defendant without bail pending the governor's warrant hearing. Anything else?
Yes. How can you sit there on that bench after the state has presented prints that you admit on the record that the fingerprint expert admit on the record are not my prints? I haven't been proven that I'm the person that they were looking for. You are using an ID that they're saying is me, and if you look at the ID, it's an expired ID that they're saying that they're using as identification as me. The testimony of the witnesses.
I've ruled, and that's all I'm going to say about the ruling.
Yeah, I'm not finished talking.
Well, I finished.
The witness,
So
you haven't finished
the
with
hearing is over. I asked you
jurisdiction has been
before I
challenged.
ruled if you had anything else to say, and you
Yes.
said you did not. So
No, I did not.
this
say I
hearing
had nothing
is
to say.
over.
Because on the
We'll stand
Hawaii
in
revised
recess.
statute, you are in violation because I did attest the legality of this case. You did not hear that today.
Court set in recess.
We'll see what happens.
Stay calm.
Anthony, the oath of office is right over there.
Okay, you copy that.
And your itinerary is over there from, you were in your.
Yeah, it's with the court clerk now.
She's holding it.
The court clerk has his itinerary and the oath of office of the judge.
They got to give me my legal documents.
Stay calm.
Yeah, Manny. I want you to look at that. You see that right there? Why is that tape over there?
So, I don't know. Why do you think that tape's over there?
Maybe somebody who cannot sit there and maybe pass some documents if he needs to.
Yeah, that's
Why
true.
was the sheriff's all put over here? There's 1, 2, and 3. One right there.
Section's closed. You can't sit there and
Was
pass
that
documents.
because maybe if he had evidence to be put in before the court, he would not be an obstructive of his due process right? I
And-
just question that. Doesn't make sense. The document? Yeah, Ms. Gutierrez, you are assigned as a public defender, correct? Assistant. My question is, how can Mr. Anthony Williams give what?
He is his own counsel.
So are you assigned or not? Now you see that. There's no way of getting documentation.
And I was intentionally distracted and virtually harassed by somebody who was stationed just next to me so that I couldn't film. And this officer specifically stood where he knew that he could obstruct the view of the camera to the court.
What is the itinerary? She will take it. Another
You have a copy of it, but you don't know. Get her contact number.
Okay.
Contact. Find out where you can find her.